What's going on, everybody? We're going to get ready to get this show started in just a bit. We're going to talk about the Tennessee Titans and this absolutely horrific loss to the Jacksonville Jaguars. They fall 34-14, and they fall to 3-7 on the year. We're definitely going to talk about just um, what went wrong for this team and everything about it. And then also, we're gonna, definitely give a little preview to Wednesday's show as far as them getting ready for, definitely getting ready for Carolina, who will be coming in. And oh boy, if you lose that game to Carolina, and there is a definite possibility that they could it could go really, really bad. So we're going to get into that in just a bit. So get ready, everybody. We're going to start TNT post game in less than 60 seconds. Good evening, Titan Nation. How's everybody? Good evening, Titan Nation. Hope everybody is doing better than the team did yesterday. Welcome into TNT post game. I'm your man Chris, aka Blue Enforcer, and we're gonna try our very best. I'm just fixing my camera. Try our very best to talk about this game because it's not going to be easy um, to talk about this game or this team. And so we're definitely going to do our best to talk about it. So definitely go ahead and share this show out. Go ahead and share it out on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram if you could for me. And then, of course, everybody, as you come on in, definitely make sure you hit that like button. Go ahead and smash that like button for me. And if you're new to the channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Go ahead and hit subscribe and go ahead and subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. And then also, if you're not able to fully listen to see the episode, or if you're like driving or something like that, and you need to go back and listen to it, definitely make sure you can download me on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, wherever you get your podcast from. I'm gonna make sure I update. I got to update Wednesday's episode tomorrow. Yesterday's live and tonight's episode is all going to get uploaded tonight. So we're going to have that there just if you want to listen back and everything. But I thank everybody for tuning in to the show. But let's get right to it and let's get some thoughts, because this was an embarrassment of a football game. This was a bad game in any way you try and slice it. And the Tennessee Titans fall 34-14. They fell flat on their face, and as the title says, they looked lifeless in this game. Absolutely no life whatsoever. No life whatsoever in this football team. They got destroyed in all 4 phases of the game. And I'll explain that in just a bit. Not too many people played well. Will Levis behind that albatross of an offensive line just was under assault all day. And I mean, they're basically doing what the Steelers did, what the Buccaneers did, and that was blitz, blitz, blitz. And teams are going to continue to do that. Carolina's going to do that next week. They're just going to blitz, blitz, blitz. The only somebody on offense who actually played well was DeAndre Hopkins. And you couldn't get the ball to him half the time. Will Levis struggled, but that was more on the offensive line, as particularly Aaron Brewer and Darren Brunskill. Braden's had his struggles too, but I don't think it was as bad as PFF, which I don't really trust PFF like that, the way that they're looking. Dion says, time has come. Get ready for our new head coach. I've been ready. I know XD Gamer is happy. I know his Duval won. Yeah. I got that over with. And that was a dime Titan South. He threw the D-hop. I'm not going to even lie about that. And so, you know, Ty Hugo says, Vrabel the Patriot. If the Patriots want him that bad, please trade us for him. That first round pick might be out the window, but they're gonna have to give up quite a bit, and I would fleece them if they want him that bad. So this is bad. Offense was bad. Defense was not much better. Christian Fulton gets pulled midway through the game. Roger McCreary, God bless him. I know he is trying hard. He is playing hard, but man, they're abusing him. Aziz Al-Shire, Monty Rice, Jack, it doesn't matter. You can't play in the middle. And your pass rush, which is supposed to be your strength, is your biggest disappointment. Special teams. Ryan Stonehouse didn't have a great day. And then Eric Guerra fumbles the ball. So you had some struggles on special teams. But the fourth aspect, and Vrabel even admitted, Jacksonville was better coached. They have a better team. We got thoroughly outplayed, outclassed, outcoached yet again. I mean, it's nothing new. And I did a live last night on my Facebook page, and I kind of wanted to put that out. I was like, I want to know where all the Vrabel apologists, where all the Vrabel supporters are at. Where all the Vrabel butt kissers, where are they at? Because I know they're out there, especially on Twitter. I mean, some of y'all Vrabel lovers are some of the most delusional fans I have ever seen in my life. Y'all are making it seem like Vrabel is just so blameless. Like, none of this is his fault. XD Gamer, I know he's being a troll. He's being a troll because, you know, he's gloating in all of our faces. Saying, you know, it's Tim Kelly and Shane Bowen. But really, we know whose fault this is. Y'all been hearing me say it. You're going to continue to hear me say it. But we'll get to that in just a moment. But let's talk about the play on the field. On offense, Will Levis struggled. You didn't really have the ball, but you got dominated in time of possession by almost 13 minutes. Will Levis only 13 of 17, 158 yards. He threw a couple of touchdowns late after the game was just so over. Derrick Henry could do absolutely nothing. Only 10 carries, 38 yards, which, I mean, every team is going to sell out to stop the run. Every team is going to do that. DeAndre Hopkins, your only bright spot. 4 catches, 59 yards. Could have had a couple more. And where Levis, I believe, nearly threw an interception, and it was like a third down. He was trying to escape the pocket. He went for Josh Wiley. DeAndre Hopkins was open on the on the sideline past the sticks. He could have just flipped it to his left to him. Would have been an easy first down. But then you also have the offensive line. So wasn't his best game, but not all his fault. But not his fault, you know. And I am shocked at the people who are starting to turn on Will Levis already. Are you freaking kidding me? You're ready to throw in the towel on him after what? 4 games? Really? Behind this albatross of an offensive line that Vrabel put together, y'all want to say, yeah, we're done with Willett. We're done with Levis. Levis is not even close to being part of the problem. So let's stop that. The offensive line, I believe, gave up about 6 hits because they didn't have the ball very long. They only had 38 plays. Jacksonville ran almost double the amount of Jacksonville ran double the plays you did. Almost double. You had 38 plays, they had 69 plays. And Tight South says, dude is a rookie. Who's throwing the towel on Levis? If you look at Twitter and you look at some of these shows and people comment, there are subs talking about, well, Levis ain't it. Levis ain't the answer. I'm not impressed. There are some. I'm not one of them. So, but let's get to the offensive line because the offensive line is trash. Chris Hubbard seems like he can't stay healthy. Just came back from a concussion and got hurt again, which means, and Vrabel's already come out and said Chris Hubbard's going to miss some time. So it might be Jalen Duncan will have to go in maybe at right tackle, or you may have to go back to Andre Dillard at left, and Dylan Radins has to go to right. If I'm Mike Vrabel, just put Jalen Duncan at right tackle and see how he can do. Because Andre Dillard cannot go back on this field again. And then as far as Aaron Brewer, who I think is the worst center in football, put Brunskill at center or Corey Levin. And, you know, Skoronski maybe didn't have his best game, but he ain't the worst. And neither is Radins. But, I mean, again, I've seen worse. Radins wasn't good. I mean, wasn't great. But he just wasn't as god-awful as people say he is. I mean, there was some issues. But the worst is kind of in the middle, mainly with Aaron Brewer. And you got to be able to call protections and stuff like that as the quarterback of the offensive line. And Aaron Brewer just ain't it. JS75 said, if we lose to Carolina next week, I think one of the coordinators is getting fired. Somebody's got to get fired, or it's going to be Vrabel. So we're definitely going to find out. But the offense is just bad. I mean, NWI not doing anything. Kyle Phillips not doing anything. Chris Moore, I mean, probably had 2 of the biggest plays of the game, the 33-yard end around and a 49-yard bomb when the game was out of reach. Captain Tripp says, fire Vrabel. That team was not prepared to play. The players said that practice didn't get translated to the game. I mean, they haven't played well in the last 3 games. Since he said, I hope we could trade Vrabel in all season. I mean, his stock is probably going down right now. So we're definitely going to see. You know, Throckmorton might get thrusted in at guard, and maybe you move Brunskill or Levin to center. Maybe we'll see. But this offensive line is bad on a lot of levels. Chig can't catch worth nothing. Had a first down in his hands and can't catch the ball. Besides DeAndre Hopkins, you have no weapons. Traylon Burks can't stay healthy. He's a bust. Okonkwo is heading in that direction too. So the offense is awful. Tim Kelly waits to when it's too late to pull some tricks out of his hat. So that's bad. Then let's go to the other side of the ball. Defense. Once again, I mean, Big Jeff played his tail off. Not going to lie. Nobody else did. Landry didn't really do nothing. Arden Key has been a no-show since week 1 and really didn't do much in week 1. So he really has been a no-show since training camp. So it wouldn't surprise me if they cut Arden Key after this year because he's done absolutely nothing. Landry has done nothing either. I didn't even realize he had 5 sacks. Azeez Al-Shire, yeah, he can tackle, but that's about it. That's about it. Can't really do much else. I mean, he had a nice pass breakup. Gibby's been benched twice. I don't think they're going to go back to him. And Monty Rice just seems like he's out of position, out of place. So, and then in the secondary, I mean, Christian Fulton is bad, got pulled. Trey Avery's not much better. McCreary getting picked on. Eric Guerra, I didn't notice him, so maybe that's a good thing. Elijah Molden is just not it at safety. And Amani Hooker's Amani Hooker. I think Amani Hooker's good, but obviously some players that are good have regressed all over this defense. Special team, Ryan Stonehouse, again, did not have a good day. Nick Folk made his kicks. Eric Guerra fumbles on a punt return. Can't have that. I'm willing to give him another shot, because, I mean, I think he's done well. I mean, I wouldn't just crucify him for one thing, but, I mean, that was a turnover that did lead to a score. But all of this stems to one fact that no one can deny. We have a coaching problem. We have a big-time coaching problem. Brand B. Payne, my God, says, I'm at the point where we just aren't a talented team. O-line hasn't played together as a unit. All Levis will throw it deep. Levis will throw it deep. We don't have any corners. Autry's on the decline. Autry is kind of on the decline. Captain Tripp says, conspiracy. Vrabel is doing this on purpose to lower his trade value. I don't know why. I mean, if that's the case, he's doing a damn good job. Derek Roberts says, play the third stringers, which that would be probably worse. But, I mean, nothing else has worked so far. Devin says, can we find another way to run the king? The box is stacked. I mean, I've said use the pass to set up the run, but they won't do that. D09 says Landry's on the decline too. I mean, Landry has 5 sacks, and I didn't even notice. I did not even notice. And so it all stems to one thing. We have a coaching problem. Tim Kelly has some nice design plays, but calls them too late or is too conservative. They don't know how to make a game plan to where if the offense is struggling, most good offensive coordinators know how to work it so that you can hide your deficiency. We won't move the pocket. We won't set up plays to where Levis can get the ball out quickly, except screen pass. You won't do any slants. You won't do any crossing routes, like short crossing routes that you can let players run after the catch and protect your offensive line. We got a defensive coordinator that's way in over his head, and we could tell Jim Schwartz really was the one that was, pulling the strings. What's up, big dog? And then Jackie says, these players do not want to play under Vrabel. Dude has lost the locker room. Amy better wake up and see the reality. Vrabel is checked out on his way to New England. He probably has checked out. Lou Man says, we have a GM problem. Here's the thing. He just got here. He just got here. To the missus, how you doing, Miss Sunshine? To the missus, hello. Yeah, it has been a rainy day. And I know a lot of you want to say, well, we have a talent problem, or it's John Robinson's fault. John Robinson's fault. And let me tell you, all of y'all that saying it's John Robinson's fault has lost your damn mind. And this is why. I get there are some remnants. Yes, he has had some misses in the draft that are biting this team right now. We have been chasing the Isaiah Wilson trade, the Isaiah Wilson pick for 3 years, trying to fix that problem. The entire 2020 draft class was terrible. Christian Fulton included, who will not be back on this team. Drafting Caleb Farley the very next year. John Robinson did bank too much on injured guys, thinking that he could get value. The only one that has worked is Big Jeff. Drafted Caleb Farley. I know a lot of people say drafted Dylan Radins too, but Dylan Radins, what's happened to him is not really his fault. But if you got bad assistant coaches, it falls on Mike Vrabel. This is Mike Vrabel's fault, and I'm going to keep hammering this point until everybody understands that and will come back and say, truth, you were right. And some of you have said that too. But a lot of y'all are going to come back to me and say, you know what, truth, I was wrong. You were right. This was Vrabel. Because think about this. Who hired Tim Kelly? Who brought in Shane Bowen? Who didn't hold Todd Downing accountable until the end of the year for his shortcomings? That was all Mike Vrabel and some of these other assistant coaches. Craig Ackerman still has a job. That's Mike Vrabel's fault. Everybody want to talk bad about the offensive line. Nobody on this offensive line, with the exception of Dylan Radins, was from the previous era. Maybe an NPF to a certain extent, but Vrabel was the coach. But Vrabel is the coach. Who was the one that went to bat and wanted Andre Dillard so bad? Mike Vrabel. And let me go back further before we go into all of that. Remember, Amy Adams-Strunk fired John Robinson in the middle of the year. We were 7-3. Got our butts kicked by Philly. She fired John Robinson mid-season. She gave a full vote of confidence and more power to Mike Vrabel for this upcoming season. So Amy basically said, you both collaborate, him and Rand, you report to me. I think Vrabel has final say over the roster. He basically saying, I need this, this, and this. Rand, go get it for me. Vrabel is really in control, and Rand is the sidekick to him. Who wanted Andre Dillard so bad? Vrabel was the one that banged the table for him. Who was the one that drafted Skoronski, an All-American left tackle? Let me say that one more time. I believe he was a 2-time All-American left tackle. I'm actually looking that up now to confirm that, but I know he was at least once. Was an All-American left tackle. I want to say he was a two-time All-American left tackle. Okay, wait a minute. No, in 2020 he was second team All Big Ten. 2021, 2022 was first team All Big Ten. He was the Remington Pace Offensive Lineman of the Year and was a unanimous All-American last year. A unanimous All-American left tackle. And whose decision was it to put him at guard? Mike Vrabel. When you could have went and got a Morgan Moses or George Fant to play right tackle, you could have you could have gotten Isaiah Isaac Sabalo from the Eagles to play left guard. And then you could have had Skoronski at left tackle. And you would have been fine. So this is all Mike Vrabel's doing. Wanting to give Brewer $4.3 million to come back at center when nobody else would have paid that kind of money. He went and got Brunskill from San Francisco, and then he brought in Chris Hubbard when NPF got suspended. Then he put NPF at right tackle. Well, he was trying to put him at left. Hubbard got hurt, went to right. TJ Watt beat him like a drum. And we're where we are. He's out for the year. So this is Mike Vrabel's doing on the offensive line. He brought in Arden Key, big disappointment. Brought in Al-Shaair, jury is still out. So again, yes, do we have a talent issue? Yes, we do. But everybody want to say, well, it's still John Robinson's fault. But yeah, you remember back in 2021 when we went through 91 players, we had all those injuries, yet the team finished 12-5 and got the number 1 seed. Still had injuries after that. And we were nearly in the playoffs. We don't have the injury bug as an excuse right now. Yes, some players are out, but not that many players are hurt. So again, quit blaming John Robinson for all of this. So y'all want to blame John Robinson for Andre Dillard being worse than Dennis Daly. You want to blame John Robinson for bringing back Aaron Brewer when he didn't do that. You want to blame John Robinson that Chigakonkwo can't catch worth nothing. It all tells me Mike Vrabel has got to go. And I'm already going to give you a spoiler for this Sunday. We're going to lose to Carolina. I have that feeling. We are going to lose to Carolina. Something just tells me that. I have this inkling feeling. Because what have we seen with Pittsburgh, Tampa Bay, Jacksonville? They were all coming off of losses, and what did they do? They got right. We are the team everybody gets right against. You know? So I actually think, and I was listening to a lot of shows. Caroline Finn on Caroline Willie and D-Base basically said this is on the coach. Some others, like Robbie and Rex, some of them, they just won't blame Vrabel. Vrabel was snippy at the press conference, getting snippy with TD, talking about, are you questioning me if I have control of this locker room or not? I wish TD had said, yes, I am questioning that. But I get it. You know, you're being professional. John Robinson may have a hand on his team, but he ain't got that much on the current team right now. A lot of those draft misses, they're not even playing on this team right now. Caleb Farley is basically ghost. I don't even think he knows, I don't even think he wants to play football anymore. King Braylon says, I'm tired of Vrabel being conservative. We have nothing to lose at this point. We don't go for it on 4th and 1. This season's just putrid. I didn't exactly disagree with not going for it on 4th and 1 in your own territory under 2 minutes to go. Because, I mean, if you don't get it, you're giving them the ball at your 30, and basically it'll be 17-0 instead of 13-0. What's up, AC Mick? But it's time for fresh blood. Now, I will probably wait till the end of the year if I know for a fact there could be a trade in place for him to go to the Patriots. And if that's so, then I'm probably not firing him just yet. And somebody said, if we have a top 3 pick, what are we doing? If Marvin Harrison Jr. is sitting there, I'm taking Marvin Harrison Jr. If he is not sitting there at number 3, and like Caleb Williams or Drake May is sitting there, I will take the biggest king's ransom I can find. I'll take a king's ransom for one of the teams slightly below me, like the Bears or Washington. I would take a king's ransom to move down. If we're in the top 3, which means New England is below us, which means Chicago is below us, the Giants will be below us, I would get a king's ransom for one of the quarterbacks. And honestly enough, if the Patriots want Vrabel so bad, give me that top. If you get past 3 or whatever, and we're below you, you're below us, give us that first round pick. That's the only way. If they're above us, I don't see it happening. Now, Amy does need to do something. She needs to come out and say something. So, you can't hire from within. This hiring from within, stop. Faye says, Vrabel didn't disagree with the firing of the staff. He just said it was too late in season. It doesn't matter when it's going on. Look at Buffalo. Sean McDermott fired Ken Dorsey mid-season. 10 games in, he's fired him. Big Dog says, if we go 3-15, it's time for Vrabel to go. I think it'll be time to go if they lose to Carolina, and I honestly think they will, it will be already time to go. So Rand is the general manager, but we don't know who has final say so. I'm just thinking the way things are going and the way Vrabel always talks about everything. Because remember, when Kevin Byard got traded, who talked about it? It wasn't Rand, it was Mike. At the press conference, talking about Jared, I think, asked him a question about special teams or whatever. He was like, hey, Rand, go get us some returners. And everybody was laughing, and it ain't looking so funny right now. Rand can sign the player, but Vrabel has a big say about it. So, yeah, I look on his face. I mean, he may have checked out already. And I appreciate everybody tuning in. I know we got well over 25 or more watching. I definitely appreciate that. But this team is just bad all over the place. And I think coaching is the reason. King Brother said Bryce Young is going to show why he was the number one pick. I think Bryce Young is going to have a good day. Big Dog said we haven't lost a home game yet. Hey, there's always a first time in the season. And think about this. You know, Carolina has reason to win. They don't want the Bears to get that high of a draft pick. Some people say I'll never watch Titan football again if they lose. I'm just saying. I told all of y'all, watch with an open mind. Don't get mad if they lose because this team sucks. And I love this team, and it's okay to say that. I'm still going to be a fan. I'm always going to be a fan, but this team sucks. Everybody thinks this game is a gimme game. This is the Titans should win this game. With this team, there's no such thing. There's no such thing as a gimme game or a should win game for the Titans. Right now, the Titans are a 3.5-point favorite. If it stays that way, I will put money. I will scrape some money together and put it on Carolina. I will put money on Carolina to cover that 3.5 or to win outright. Caleb Williams, I don't know. I got to really go back and look. He's had some struggles. Brandon said, if we get rid of Vrabel, who are we hiring for head coach? If we get rid of Vrabel before the season's over, maybe Terrell Williams will take over as interim. But I'm looking at 3 names. Bobby Slowick, the offensive coordinator in Houston, who was, I believe, the pass game coordinator in San Francisco under Kyle Shanahan. Rand is familiar with him. That would be number 1. Number 2 is Ben Johnson in Detroit. He would be my second choice. Getting the most out of Jared Goff. And number 3 is Eric Bieniemy. What would it be like? You have a black general manager and then a black head coach. We have a black general manager, and then we would have the first ever African-American head coach in the history of this organization. That would be an interesting new era. But I'm going offensive-minded. Nice joke. Nice joke. Brandon, so you've never heard of Ben Johnson, the Detroit Lions offensive coordinator. The Detroit Lions are one of the top offenses in the league. They're putting up well over 400 some odd yards and put up a lot of points. They just came back from the Bears, and I'm so mad with the Bears right now because we went from 8-6 thanks to Green Bay winning and the Rams winning. If the Bears had just held on, they had a 2-touchdown lead and couldn't hold it. If they hold on, they had a 2-touchdown lead with 4 minutes to go in the game. If they win that game, we're in the top 5 in the draft right now. Right now, we're at 6. Derek with a super chat. Best player available or position of need? I would probably go best player available. If Marvin Harrison Jr. is on the board when we pick, and I mean, it is pretty unlikely, but in the event that he is, if we're in the top 3 and he is there, and you don't take Marvin Harrison Jr., I would want Ran Carthon fired that night. Because that is a guy that would look like a generational talent. A guy that you wouldn't find every day. A guy similar to Megatron. Those type of guys don't come around every day. I would take Marvin Harrison Jr. and I wouldn't even think twice about it. Now, if he's not there and one of the quarterbacks are there, I'm trading down. maybe just a couple of spots. I wouldn't trade down too far. The only I would not trade out of the top 10. I know that much. I'll probably trade, like, if we're in the top 3, I'll probably trade as low as maybe 6, 7, or 8. But for that, and I would have to get a haul to do that. And then if not, I draft one of the tackles. Alt or Fashanu. Brandon says, I believe Rand and Vrabel are butting heads. I believe it's a power struggle. Well, according to a lot of the media, according to Miss Teresa, according to TD, and according to Buck and others, there is no power struggle, that they are collaborating. So, again, I'm putting money on Carolina, Brandon. Like, I got 5 on that bet. Hey, I'll probably put a couple of dollars down on that too. Carolina to win. Bryce Young's going to throw for about 150, 200 yards at least. Maybe a touchdown. Titan Kong says it's a lose-lose these next 2 games. You win both of them at home, you knock yourself out of the top 5. I agree. If we lose, it's an embarrassing loss at home. I agree. It is a lose-lose. I would say no to Jim Harbaugh. Don't need that drama. How are we supposed to have a defensive-minded coach and our defense blows? I mean, it's below average. That is an excellent question. So we're definitely going to see. So some of you are talking about Eric Bieniemy. Yeah, he won't put up a crowd. Yeah, Eric Bieniemy, I would like him. Big Dog says Fashanu from Penn State. Yeah, I would say the favorite is either Fashanu or Joe Alt. But yes, Marvin Harrison Jr. still available. Take him. I would take him. Brandon says, I call BS on collaboration. Haven't heard from Rand since the preseason. I agree. You haven't heard from Rand really since after the draft. And I think in the preseason. That is the last time you heard from him. And I know a lot of y'all are hoping that Carolina loses, but again, anything is possible. There is no gimme games with this team. This Titan team, yes, should win, but this Titan team could very well lose next week. It's not a lose-lose if GM cleans house and makes a public statement we're pivoting. And I think that's the problem. I called it to Jared, to Stillman and Company earlier. I said, I think the organization and Vrabel are in the 5 stages of grief. We are past denial because he denied that we needed to rebuild. He thought we could still win now. Anger, players are showing their anger. Big Jeff coming out talking. They were mad at all of us fans for booing, putting Malik on the field. And then, he fumbles and then he comes out, the whole switch of the quarterbacks, which we were mad at Vrabel for that. Bargaining, basically like, we got no choice but to go back to Dillard after you pulled him. And because of injuries, you go back to him. I think we're at the depression stage for what happened yesterday, because before that, Vrabel was like, I don't know if any of this is fixable. We're going to try to fix problems and things like that. But he really doesn't know how to fix it. And I think with what he said today, as far as I don't foresee any coaching changes, that sounds like acceptance. So I really do think we're going through the 5 stages of grief. Parker D says, I don't want to take an offensive tackle because that's boring, but it's what we need. Again, yes, picking an offensive tackle is boring, but Ryan Reynolds in the movie Hitman Bodyguard, what would he say? Boring is best. Sometimes boring is best. Picking an offensive tackle, and let me tell y'all, from what I've been hearing, this is a rich tackle draft. This is a good crop of tackles that are coming out. So perhaps you could fix your issues. You could draft a left and a right tackle in this draft. So we're going to find out. We are definitely going to find out in the very near future. Caesar the editor says, let's be honest, I'd rather us lose out, get a top 5 pick instead of winning a pointless game. I am not against that. Knowing us, we're going to mess up everything and win this game. I mean, with Vrabel's stubbornness, it would not shock me that they do exactly what we don't. Usually the Titans do exactly what we don't want them to do. So we're definitely going to find out. But I do think the Titans are going to lose to Carolina. But we'll talk about that more on Wednesday, because we'll talk about the Carolina game. Get your votes in for Two-Tone Blue Star of the Week and Dunce of the Day. And I have a very good shut your pie hole for this week before we go into Thanksgiving. Vrabel going to send us out the way Lovey did. Yeah, I could see that. Somebody about to be fired. Rand about to take over. He's sitting back and observing. Some people about to lose their job. Rand too quiet. I mean, yeah, I think something is going to go down. I think something can go down. And I honestly think Mike Vrabel is going to get put out like Malarkey did, because he got an ultimatum. Fire Terry Robisky or you're gone. He didn't fire Robisky. That's why he lost his job. And Mike Malarkey actually did a pretty good job. I mean, that is a pretty good question. It depends on the talent. I mean, if you can fix some of your offensive line, you can get wide receivers in free agency. That could be somewhat decent. We'll definitely find out. And Derek Roberts just said what I always think. Those who don't learn from history are doomed to repeat it. Big Dog says we should get Brandon Ayuk. I don't think San Francisco's going to let him go. But that's going to just about do it for this show. We will get into the Panthers game on Wednesday before Thanksgiving. And, you know, if some of you are not able to tune in, I hope everybody has a happy Thanksgiving. We'll talk about that more on Wednesday. I want everybody to have a very good rest of your Monday. I'm your man, Truth, a.k.a. Blue Enforcer. Again, definitely make sure you share this show. Super chats are appreciated. I thank everybody for tuning in. Everybody, before you go, everybody smash that like button. Go ahead, smash that like button for me and show some love, because I know there's like 25 of y'all watching and I've only gotten 11 likes. Every last one of y'all need to hit the like button before you leave. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, go ahead and hit subscribe and ring the bell so that way you can get be in the know of everything. I thank y'all for tuning into this show. And everybody have a very good rest of your night. And at the end, Blue 5B. And tighten up, because that's all we know how to do. Good night, y'all.